Hey, it's Rachel with Be Healed Dog Training. I've had several people ask me recently for more information about prong collars, so I'm doing this video today to just talk about some general information about the collars and to also go over how to properly put on and fit a prong collar. For starters, there's a lot of incorrect information out there. A lot of people hesitate to use prong collars because they believe that it will hurt the dog or that the training with prong collars intimidates dogs. And that's just so far from the truth that I hope this video can help to explain how the collar works and make people feel more comfortable with using them. Or if you're already interested and wanting to make sure that you're properly using your prong collar, we'll go over the different sizes, how to put it on, how to make sure it's fitted appropriately. For starters, I know that the collar looks barbaric. That's part of why they get their bad reputation, and I get it. But these collars are actually designed to be incredibly gentle. If you've ever seen a dog pulling on its collar, even just a plain flat buckle nylon collar like this one, we've all seen the dog that's pulling hard against the leash and they're coughing and they're choking. And that's because you get a pressure point directly across from where the leash is, and that ends up being a pressure point right on the dog's trachea. So pulling like that against any collar can cause a lot of damage to the dog's trachea. A lot of people, if they struggle with a dog that pulls at all, will opt then to go for a harness, thinking that it's going to keep the dog from choking. And it's true that a harness can keep a dog from choking, but the problem is if you already have a dog that pulls and then you use a harness, typically that pulling is going to get worse because harnesses are actually designed for pulling. You know, look at sled dogs. The dog can put its entire body into a harness. And so again, if you've got a dog that already pulls, that's typically going to be worse if you use a harness. And that's where a prong collar comes in as a wonderful option and training tool. By design, they're very gentle collars. When it's fitted appropriately, the prongs sit all the way around the dog's neck, and when pressure is applied, the pressure is distributed evenly all the way around the neck versus creating a pressure point on the dog's trachea. Also, when you deliver information through your leash to your dog, the collar makes it so that the dog can very much feel what you're telling them. And what that translates to is you can use a lot less leash pressure to get the same or better results than you get with a regular flat buckle collar. So I have a few different sizes here. This one is a 2.25 millimeter prong. The brand that I use and recommend is called Herm Sprenger. That's going to be in the description on this video. Herm Sprenger is a wonderful, high-quality collar. They're only going to cost you about $20 on Amazon, but where the prongs are cut at the end, they're rounded edges on a Herm Sprenger. Sometimes when you get a prong collar in a pet store, they're cut in a way that these prongs do end up being a little bit sharp, which we definitely don't want. Herm Sprenger has rounded edges, and also the chain on here is really smooth and releases really well. So as far as a training tool, this is just a very high quality collar, not very expensive. But we've got the 2.25 millimeter here, and that's going to be a pretty wide range of dogs. Anywhere up to about a 45 to 55 pound dog can use a 2.25 millimeter prong. This one is a 3.0 millimeter prong, and that can go anywhere from 40 up to 175, 200 pound dog. And I'm going to put these on my dog in a minute and show you how to actually put it on. But first, I'm going to show you the different links here. You can see those okay. So this is your 2.25 and this is a 3.0. You can see the difference there in the links. And then these collars are a little bit different than some of the prong collars that you see. So both of these collars are actually quick release collars. I originally had to buy quick release collars because I was having problems with my hand. I had an injury where I couldn't properly pinch the prongs, and I'm going to show you what I mean in a moment. And I ended up getting quick release style collars. I actually don't recommend these unless you have a reason that you need one, only because I have found out that the collar is a lot more likely to come apart when you use this. Typically you wouldn't have this piece here. This would all be one continuous chain that you could not remove. So I've just found, especially with the 2.25 collar, that this is a lot more likely to come off. Now later when I put this on my dog, I'm also going to show you some safety tips to make sure that if your collar ever does come apart, that your dog isn't running loose. But the way these collars work is these prongs come apart like this. They're also called pinch collars. A lot of people mistakenly believe that that means the collar pinches the dog. The only reason they're called pinch collars is because you have to pinch these links together, or these ends together, to get it to link up like that, okay? So when you put the collar on the dog, typically what you're doing is you're going to put this around the dog's neck, pinch these together, and link it like that. And you want to be careful when you do this, first of all, to make sure that you actually get the link in both holes here. You don't want to miss one. Again, your collar could come apart. And you also want to be sure that you're not putting your link like this and trying to pull it through, because then you can end up bending the metal here. And again, your collar is more likely to pop off when you don't want it to. So this is how you connect the links. And you can add and remove links if you need to make the collar itself longer or shorter to fit individual dogs. So that's how that works. Now, with the quick release, you actually use this chain to put it on and take it off. So again, typically you would get one that doesn't include this piece here. It's just going to have metal links all the way around where this part won't be removable. Now here you have two rings. You've got your live ring, and that's this one that swivels. This is the ring that your leash is going to attach to. Your other ring here is called the dead ring, and we're actually going to attach a carabiner there as a safety backup measure, which I'll show in just a few moments. So for starters, actually I'm going to get Belle out here. Belle's going to be our collar model. Okay, hopefully you can see this really clearly. So for starters, the prong collar should sit up very high on the dog's neck and, excuse my cat, and be put on very snugly. People do tend to put these collars on too loose, and when you do that, you can end up with pressure points just like with any other collar. So to get the benefits of the pressure being evenly distributed, you want it up high and you want it snug, okay? So I'm going to show you first how to put it on with the quick release option. If you have a quick release collar, if you need one for some reason, then you take this chain, you find the last link in it, and it's going to go through the hole here at the end, and then go back on itself. And this little piece here that opens and closes will grab the link. Okay? And then the collar's on. And this is where you want the collar to sit, up high and snug. So if this helps you to see it a little bit better, again, find the link at the end. It's going to go through this hole here. Go back on itself. And you grab it with this guy right there. Just like that. So again, now she is wearing a 2.25 millimeter. She also can wear a 3. She's 55 pounds, so she's kind of right on that cutoff for the different size collars. Nikki, you just want to be a little video star, don't you? Anyway, so if you don't have the quick release, and again, that's what I would recommend unless you have a reason that you need one with a quick release, if you're not able to pinch the collar the way it's designed. Okay, my other cat, yes, that was her fault. Apologies. Anyway, back to our collars. Shenzi, you're fired. You're not as funny as you think you are. Okay, back to business. So, for a normal prong collar, again, this chain would be continuous without that release in it. What you would do is you would just take any two links and pull them apart around the dog's neck, pinch the links together like we saw earlier, and then turn the collar so that your live ring is at the back here for your leash. So prong collars can come apart when you use them, and historically, according to Murphy's Law, it's always going to happen at the worst moments, so you do want to have a backup system in place. And the way we're going to do this is to just put on your regular flat buckle nylon collar. You're going to use a carabiner, just a regular carabiner, and clip it to the D-ring on your flat buckle collar. And then that is going to connect to the dead ring on the prong collar. So you've got the swivel ring here that the leash will attach to. I'm going to show that here. No, down. Okay, so that's how that should look. This is connected to the dead ring and your collar. So that if for some reason this comes apart while you're working, you're still connected to your dog. And that gives you time to get back to your dog, put your collar back on, and not have a dog running loose. So that's really important. Anytime you're going to be doing any work in an area that the dog is not contained, that you do have a backup system in place. The dog could roll and catch the collar on something, or that quick release can snap open and the collar comes off. So you want to make sure that you've got that backup system in place. Good job, Belle. I hope this video helps you feel confident and more comfortable with using prong collars. This is Shinzy, by the way, who's responsible for knocking the camera down earlier. She's my little class clown, as you can see. But if you follow Be Healed Dog Training on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, I have a lot of content that I post about dog training, and I do have videos showing how to properly introduce the prong collar to a dog for the first time and walking nicely on a leash. So make sure you're following us, and we've got lots of other information that you can keep up with. Shinzy, you're distracting me. Y'all take care.